So when I meet someone for the first time and they're brand new to our office, a lot of times they ask me, like, how did you get into holistic dentistry? And, first thing I have to say is, there's no such thing as holistic dentistry as it's not a specialty, but we are general dentists and we practice with a holistic approach. So how did I come upon this holistic approach? Well, it actually started at dental school, which, was a little confusing to me because most of the dentists that were teaching there kind of taught by the book. And there were a few dentists that were definitely outside what we would call normal for dentists. So they talked about, how they didn't use fluoride in their offices, or they said, oh, I haven't used mercury amalgam fillings in my office for like 20 years. And I just thought, why? You're here at the dental school and, the school teaches certain things and you're kind of teaching something else. It was kind of like these were like rogue dentists, right? So I heard about this and I started thinking okay, there might be something to this. So as I started doing my own research and learning more and more about it, I just realized that these values of respecting the whole body as being connected, where, the mouth is part of the whole body and this system needs to be respected, the more I realized there must be a better place where I can feel totally at home. As time went, I actually found that this practice was for sale and it was being marketed as kind of like this holistic or biological dental office. And I was like, wait a second, I'd never really heard that term before. And as I dug in to figure out what that meant, I realized that I had already been hearing bits and pieces of what this holistic approach really meant. I've been hearing about it in other places. So it got me thinking, okay, I've learned a few things here, and there's obviously a whole lot more because there's a whole practice devoted to this, not just one or two things, but it had kind of the whole scope of what we now know or what we practice as being the holistic approach, right? So it was super cool for me because it went from dental school and hearing a few little bits of information to me doing some of my own research and taking courses and things like that, to finding this practice and this opportunity for me to be right at home, kind of practicing everything that, rings true to me as a person. So even when I got here, there were things about it that I didn't necessarily agree with. I thought that we could actually improve upon. So over the past 5 years, I've been digging deep and trying to find all the different ways that we could improve our services and the patient experience. So we've been digging in, trying to find all the ways we can to make this place the best it can be. So even if you haven't been here in a while, a couple years, a lot of times patients come in and I haven't seen them for a couple years and they say, oh, I never saw this before, or this thing you're doing, is it new? And I'm like, yeah, when was the last time you were in? And it kind of, there's a constant progression here where we're never satisfied. And that's kind of the core of who we are. So we're constantly investing in new technology and new processes to make this absolutely the best experience that we can offer.